Hey guys, well hopefully today is the day that we are going to plant our garden. So come along with us as we get to work in the garden. So y'all, I just wanted to give out a little warning or disclaimer before we go work in the garden. And in case this isn't scary enough, it gets worse. And I just wanted to give you a warning just so you all know that I'm aware, I know, and I do take everything into consideration. A little funny about me is I don't perspire much at all. In fact, I overheat actually. I get a little sticky, I guess, and but I don't sweat like your normal people do. But what you're gonna see is my face will get really beet red. I'll turn white around the mouth. I'll turn white around the eyes. And usually Bryant knows to tell me, Leslie, you're overheated. And so I do know that this happens, and I just wanted you all to know that I'm okay. I'm aware, and just to overlook it, it is a scary sight. It is a scary sight. But anyway, I know it, and there's no point in me trying to cover it up with makeup because that's just going to look bad. And so it is what it is. So I just want y'all to know you are in for this could be a Halloween video. A horror film. But no, I do know I'm okay. So don't worry about me. I'm alright. I know it. And Bryant knows to tell me when, because I can't see. And he knows to tell me when I need to go drink some water or when I need to go cool off. So anyway, I just want to let you know in case it happens that don't worry about me. I'm okay. Hey guys, so we are out here. See Jitterbug? We are out here. Bryant is tilling up the garden with our rotary tiller. Well, I'm not really sure what it's called, but anyway, he's getting the ground ready. It is a perfect day for us to do this garden. I'm chasing after Jitterbug. The plants, the sun's not beaten down, so the plants won't go through like some heat issues with the sun. So the only thing they'll just deal with is some transplant shock. But that should be minimal because the plants I bought are pretty sturdy. Now mine, not so much. So it's also not hot on us, so it's comfortable for us. And tomorrow it's supposed to rain, so it's a perfect scenario for planting our garden. So if we can just keep up with Judah. Caroline has come to join us. She's got to go back to school, but then she'll come back to help us. So anyway, we are working on the garden. See if I can find Bryant. Where's he at? There he is. So yep, we're getting ready. My fabric, my weed fabric control will be in tomorrow, sometime by the end of the day tomorrow, and we'll work on putting that down either tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how much rain comes tomorrow. So yep, that's where we're at now, getting ready to plant the garden. Yay! I really wanted you guys to see how pretty this dirt is. It is just beautiful. I'm hoping, I didn't do a soil sample, so I'm hoping it's good, but with the exception of rock, we have a few rock out here. Not terrible, but enough to hear as he hits them. So hopefully this is going to be a great garden for us this year, and we are going to get ready. As soon as he makes this last swatch, I think we're going to start planting. Okay, so a lot of people lay off their rows by pulling a rope and measuring, and that's great, except for we cultivate with the tractor. So what Bryant is doing is he's taking the tractor and he is laying the rows with the tractor, marking them. So because it's the exact width of the tractor, so when he comes in to cultivate, it'll be straight with the tractor. So that's what he's actually doing now. He's got a little curve to it, but that's okay. So he's got a row here, or we'll put a row right in the center of his tire tracks. This will be a row of something. And here will be a row of something. And this will probably be tomatoes and peppers. We can't decide if we're going to wait for our fabric to come to do our tomatoes. I'm not sure. We've never used fabric before, so this is why we're iffy about what to do with it. And I wish it had already been here, because then we could have just done something. But it'll be here tomorrow. But he's coming back and laying another row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna have 7 rows, it looks like. Yes, I'm gonna have 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows of good homegrown garden stuff. And Judah is having a ball out here. Having a ball. We use a little hand push planter to plant the beans, and it kind of digs the trench, puts the bean in, and covers them up as he goes. And he'll probably turn around and come back down the same row, just in case there's any thin spots. Oh, what is it, Judah Bug? Mommy coming back? Are you empty? Oh, okay, so he won't come back down the same row. I told him that you might turn around and come back down the same row.
I normally do. And I got enough to do that if you want me to.
This is our little planter. Has plates for each thing that goes inside, that has different seed pockets, or what do you call them?
Oh yeah, seed pockets.
Seed pockets that they fit in, and then it spins and it dumps them out and covers it as you go. Okay, I've got a fussy little boy here, but what Bryant's gonna do, you want this or the seed? I was gonna drop it. Bryant's taking a stick and he's kind of making a little hole. Sometimes we heel them up and make a heel and put them at the top of the heel. But we've done this too, where we just do a small hole, not very deep. And we just drop about 4 seeds in each one. And he's just gonna go through and make little holes and drop them in, and then I'll come back and cover them up. Judah and I will. He's getting sleepy. Okay, we're up here at the other garden. This is the one we have to actually drive to. It's the one where we planted the potatoes, and I don't know if you can see down there at the end, there are potatoes along with some grass. We got to get out there and till it, but potatoes did come up great. So now we're just figuring out what to do with the rest of the garden. And he is tilling it up. We're going to do okra, we're going to do purple hulls, we're going to do corn, and some watermelon. So that's the plan for out here. My main concern at this garden is the deer, because this is kind of off the beaten path, and deer are out here all the time. There are tracks everywhere. So we haven't figured that out yet. And of course, this is where I'm planting my corn, which is what deer love. So anyway, this is what we're working on now. Okay, and here he is laying off the rows at this garden. We're kind of breaking this garden into half. The other end is going to be half of the garden, and this is going to be a different half. So it's actually probably going to be broken up into fourths, actually. So, but here he is laying off another row for me. And it's just the easiest way to do it is with the tractor, so.
Why those tracks don't match, it's because I laid the potatoes off of the track.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why the tracks are different is because when we did the potatoes, we used our bigger tractor, so that's why the rows aren't exactly, the tire tracks aren't exactly matching up. But you know, when we plant the garden, we have to plant it like it's a spur of the moment thing. We kind of plan it several days in advance, but then we never know what's going to come up in our life. Our lives are just so crazy. And we don't have time to pull a string and set T-posts, and that's the ideal way of doing it. But goodness, if you can't do it that way, this way is great. Because you're going to come back through with this tractor anyway, and the measurements are perfect. So yeah, I'm not sure where he's going. I guess to turn around. It's a little tight on that end, turning around space. So anyway, all right, well, we're gonna, as soon as he gets the rows laid off, we're gonna start planting.
Okay. All right, guys, here's what we've got. This is a, we call this just a simple push planter. This is for people that may not have a planter that goes on the back of the tractor. Believe it or not, this thing works really good. Let me explain how it works. On the bottom, you have this little wedge point right here that after you've conditioned your soil, you can see this protrudes past this wheel about 1.5 inches. There's actually some settings right here that's got numbers. You can't see it, but there's numbers right here that controls the depth of how deep that you set this. This wheel has a little V on it. You can see that little V. It makes a little furrow in the ground. This right here pushes to make even another little furrow. And what happens is these plates, depending on what your seed is, it picks the seed up, dumps it out this hole, and the seed falls down a chute right here. This puts it in the ground, and then this little chain right here drags the dirt over it, and this flat wheel in the back presses it down. The optimal planting depth is about 3/4 of an inch. That's what you want here, about 3/4 of an inch. If you go too deep, it struggles to come up. If you go too shallow, when it rains, it'll wash the top of the ground. So about an inch to 3/4 of an inch. This little planter has different plates depending on what you're planting. This right here, see, if you see, they're spaced evenly, so that gives you a great distribution down the row as you're planting whatever it is. This right here is for small peas like green peas or even green beans. This right here is corn. You can see, I just know this because I've read about it. Even though it doesn't look like it here, this spaces the corn 6 inches apart whenever you're pushing it and planting it. This right here is for cabbage or onions. This right here is for beets and okra. So you got multiple plates that does multiple things. This is a great little tool. I picked this up at an auction sale. One of the things that me and the farming pastor's wife loves to do, we love to go to auction sales. This planter, if you buy it brand new, runs about $100. I got it at an auction for $25. We've had it now about 15 or 18 years, and it's been a great tool for us to use. So by chance, if you don't have one, Earthway makes one. I don't know what this particular brand is. I think this may be an Earthway. You can go to your local hardware store or just jump online and Google it, and you can find out anything you need to know about it. But anyway, join us in just a second as we plant about 3 rows of corn. One of the things I didn't show you a while ago is right here on top is it's what's called a hopper. What we're going to be planting now, we're going to be planting some corn. you can see it kind of comes after it's been dehydrated. It's treated. That's what that is on top there. It's treated. So if you want to spray with Roundup or anything like that to keep the weeds out of your garden, you could actually do so. We don't do that. We just till, and we keep the garden hoed out. So what you do is you take your corn, you pour it right here in this little hopper, right here on the top, and you'll see in just a second how it plants. But corn's very expensive. This right here runs about $16 a pound. We're planting something different this year. Normally we plant what's called silver queen corn is normally what we plant. But this right here this year is called peaches and cream. It's a combination of a white and a yellow corn. It will be polka dotted out throughout the corn. It's primarily a white corn, but you'll have yellow kernels all throughout. It's one of the sweeter corns that we've tried recently. It's very popular in our area. I don't know about your region of where you live, but this right here is very popular in our area. Great sweet flavor, really good to boil and have butter and salt and pepper on, or even just to put it on your grill and to grill it and dip it in butter there and just pull the husk back, the shucks back, and eat it. So, all right, very simple. What you do is after you've laid off your rows, you just center your planter in the center of the row and begin to push. And the rotation of the wheel rotates a little belt that will cause the corn to come out. So here it goes.
Was it coming out?
Show them how it covered it up and everything.
You can see that the row is there, but there is, you see no corn kernels. That's because it covered it up.
The key is not to plant it too deep, which we might be doing.
Which we might be doing. It's okay. I heard the birds out here. This way.
I'm thinking about going all the way.
No, stop half.
Why?
Because it needs to be in a block. You're not going to have another row next to it on that end. What I'm talking about as far as it being in a block, you want your corn, you want to have several rows of corn in like a block pattern, because the way corn is pollinated is by air and the breeze. And so you want them next to each other so that when the wind blows, it's pollinated that way. And he was debating going on the whole way. But we may get 4 rows of corn, which is awesome.
We bought it, we might as well use it.
Yeah, but it's just save me some watermelon row.
Tell them what I said.
He said we bought it, we might as well use it. You're talking about the corn?
Yeah.
We did buy it, let me tell you. Corn's expensive. Okay, Bryant is now poking my holes for my watermelon, and I'm going to come along behind him. Do what? Okay. Well, you're the one doing the holes. How many in each hole? You want 4? Oops, that was more than 4. Judabug is over the gardening. He is like, I'm done. When his mama gets back from school, she and I are going to plant the peppers and tomatoes. I haven't been covering them up.
Look at the farming pastor's wife in her old nursing scrubs out here.
I was putting them to good use since I can't wear them anymore.
Putting them to good use. Why can't she wear them?
Because our company went to All Navy.
Oh, okay.
And I don't work that often.
How often do you work?
Once in a blue moon.
Define a blue moon for everybody, for the viewers. Once every 2 months.
Yeah, once every 2 months, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was sick, it was a little more than that.
I wish I had a job like that. All right, what we're doing, we space these watermelons about 4 feet apart, putting about 3 to 4 seeds in each hole, getting them ready for a bountiful blessing from the Lord on this harvest. These watermelon seeds are some that we saved this past year. A guy in our church, these are supposedly heirloom watermelons that have been passed down from generation to generation. They're called Moon and Stars. They're not your big oval striped watermelons. They're your solid green that grows just a little bigger than a basketball, but you talking about sweet and delicious.
And they have yellow specks on them that look like a moon and stars.
Right, have little yellow specks on the exterior.
It is the best watermelon I have ever eaten.
Yeah, it was like phenomenal. So whenever these come in and harvest time happens, we'll be glad to cut one and demonstrate how sweet and lumptuous they are. So yeah, was that a good word?
I don't know that that is a word.
Well, it is now a word on the Farming Pastor's Wife video. So anyway, maybe voluptuous. How's that?
That sounds like you're talking about a woman.
Well, didn't mean for that to happen, but anyway. You know what's going to happen after you guys watch this video? You guys are going to... I not only love the farming pastor, but I love the farming pastor's pastor. Pastor's wife's pastor. Anyway, you guys get the gist.
He gets his words tangled up more than I do.
You ought to hear me in the pulpit. It's funny. Matter of fact, if you hadn't liked our church page, you can go check us out, Browers Memorial Wesleyan Church. Like our Facebook page. We go live every Sunday, and the Lord's been blessing us. Our little church was running about 60 when we took it 3 years ago. We had 190 this past week, and the Lord's been blessing. So I don't know if Les has told you guys, we've been in ministry almost full-time for 20 years. We served our first pastorate for 15 years. Never thought we'd leave there, but God tapped our hearts. It was time to go and brought us back home so we could farm and love our community at the same time. So anyway, here we are. We're at the end of the watermelon row. Looks like she has completed her job. So thumbs up from the farming pastor's wife. So you guys stay tuned. I have no idea what she's got coming up next. See you shortly.
Okay guys, well I am back at it. Bryant has gone to do some ministry work. And I am going to start on the tomatoes. Carolina's here. She's got Judah trying to get him down for a nap. And she'll come out and help me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to begin each row with one of the cherry tomatoes. That way before we start picking the tomatoes, we can have us a little snack of cherry tomatoes. And so I'm going to begin and end each row with a cherry tomato. This first row, I'm going to start with the big ones, which are the Brandywine that I bought yesterday or day before. I can't remember. But anyway, and they're the ones that's going to be ready to be trellised. We're actually going to do a different type of trellising this year. Hoss, H-O-S-S. They have a great gardening channel, and they suggested the Florida weave technique. And so we're going to try that this year. So Bryant has made me a stick to measure how far apart to put each tomato. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to drop the tomatoes and lay them out, and then I'll come back and we'll plant them then. Hey y'all, Caroline's talking to me, sorry. Today we harvested some really pretty radishes from the garden. And I thought I would show you how to make a pretty radish rose that's a cute... She is cracking cracking me up. Oh, I got a cramp.
For him today.
Look, I got a cramp now. Oh, this is not funny.
June is laughing.
Okay, so here are my radishes.
Aren't they cute?
One. There's one. I've got a few of them probably before they were ready, but there's one. We're going to slice those up to go in the salad. But here's one. I thought I'd show you how to make a pretty radish rose. A cute decor garnish, you know, to put on a pretty plate or something. And I'm just cutting the stems off right now. Okay, so you're left with just your radish.
Is it okay that he's in that door?
Yeah. And you just take your knife and cut downward. Come over here, take your knife and cut downward. Come over here, take your knife and cut downward. So you're making these little slices.
But not all the way through.
But not all the way through. And then you're going to come up between your two slices and do another one, another layer up. You're going to come up here and do another one, a little layer up. Another layer up. Try not to come all the way through. I think I just did on that one. And then you're going to do it again, and again, and again, all the way till you reach the top. Then you're going to place it in cold water, and you're going to stick it in the refrigerator. So I've put it in this cup of cold water, and I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator for a little while, and later on I'll come back and show you what it looks like. You want to see your eyeball one more time?
Okay.
One more time. There it is. Ooh. So here is your radish rose after it has sat in cold water for a little while. It's like the petals seem to open up. So if you can cut them even closer together, I went back through and cut some closer together. And you have a beautiful little decoration that you can put on a crudité plate or anything. Well guys, I got one row of tomatoes planted and I didn't even get that videoed. But I have another whole row of tomatoes to plant and probably a row and a half, if not more, of peppers to plant. So we'll do that on a different video. It rained today, so maybe tomorrow or even Monday before I get the tomatoes and peppers planted. So join me for that video, but thank you for watching this one. I hope you've enjoyed watching us plant our garden today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And now is the perfect time to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And don't forget to hit the bell notification because you don't want to miss any of the fun. Thank you for dropping in and visiting with me on the farm, where if the grease is hot enough, we can fry anything. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.